Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk, and this is the second part of my walk to the Devil's Pulpit and beyond. I started my walk at Brockweir in, well, I think it's in Gloucestershire, or it may be in, it's near Chepstow, it may be in Monmouthshire, not quite sure. Anyway, I started my walk and I've been walking over a hill. That's all in part one. This is part two as I make my way now to the Devil's Pulpit. There is a sign above me here pointing the way on to Offa's Dyke path. So let's crack on and see if we can get to this amazing view looking down on Tintern Abbey. I think we've got to go through the kissing gate over there. So away we go. This is the easy part of this walk to the Devil's Pulpit. Just come through the kissing gate just now, and then on my left, you won't see it through this tiny little lens on the GoPro that I'm videoing, but just beyond those trees and in the far distance you can make out the Severn Estuary. That may even be the Severn Bridge I can see, or one of them in the far distance. And then I've got 4 fields that will take me to the Devil's Pulpit. So I'm very excited by that. A well-worn path through tall grass. Makes for good filming, I suppose. The sun straight in my face. Very hot today. What you see, of course, when you get out into the countryside, and I don't need to tell you this, you know this, but one's got to pepper these videos with some sort of commentary, is the different wildlife in different environments. And also you start to notice different grasses, and I've spotted some campion, some pink campion. I've only recently started to look at wildflowers, just as I started to look at trees. And although I've got some of the basics, pretty good with some of the basics on trees, there's a lot that I don't know. Fir trees I'm not very good at. And if we look to our left, you can see those fir trees. You've got deciduous trees on the rim of that clump of woodland, and then you've got fir trees in the middle which are all brown. They look like they're dying, and there's some elder there I can see. I think the reason for that is we've had a lot of dry spell recently and not a lot of water, and we're on the top of a hill, so there's not going to be a lot of water. And fir trees and pine trees are not very good apparently at keeping water, because their branches are more designed. They're not really native species, or certainly not this south. And apparently, I was reading this morning, they designed more to keep the snow away, but not the rain. And the rain doesn't get down to the roots, whereas because their branches tend to point downwards, and it sort of has an umbrella effect. Whereas deciduous trees have their branches mostly pointing upwards, and that acts as a funnel as the water gets onto the branch and trickles down the trunk to the roots. So the native trees are much more used to capturing the rain than these other trees, which are the spruces and things, which would be in much wetter climates ordinarily, but we've been planting them in the last 100 years or so ago because we wanted the wood. Right, we have another kissing gate. I think this is the last of the 4 fields that I need to go through, and then this one will eventually, I can work out how to, be tricky as I always say, with one hand and various things, come through here. One last field, and then we should get to this amazing outcrop. Well, I'm now approaching the Devil's Pulpit, And as you can see behind me, it's got this little trackway that clearly leads up to it. I can hear voices ahead, so probably not going to be able to say very much, but because it's a very popular resort. So let's go and see what we can see. Oh, here we go. This is it. Almost past it. There we go. How about that? Well, that is a remarkable view, definitely. The Abbey down there, you've got the River Wye and the hill above. But something else here that I didn't know about. Something different and exciting. Go down these steps, and what do we find here? This is a remarkable tree, and it's a yew. Yes, it's a yew. You've got the stonework here in the foreground, but growing out of this rock, if I pan up, you'll see it's a yew. It's an incredible and beautiful yew with its amazing bark that looks like lava flow. And here it is. And if I pan down, you'll see we have all these rocks, and somehow the tree has grown around this strange rock formation. It is just remarkable. I'm absolutely staggered. Absolutely staggered. Now I know somebody who would love this tree, and would probably wouldn't worry about the view of Tintern Abbey and all of that, but would just be wanting to stay here forever, no doubt. And I'm talking, of course, about the lovely Julia. And I don't blame her, really, because it's an amazing view of an amazing yew. So that's been one of the highlights of this walk, most definitely. Just staggering. Right, onwards. Right, the hardest part, some people think, is coming down steep hills. Some people don't like it. I don't mind it, actually. I don't mind either going down or up, but I know some people absolutely find that it taxes different muscle groups and they're not used to it. Perhaps because gravity is pushing you down, pulling you down, I guess. So come away from the Devil's Pulpit and the fantastic yew tree, and to my left here now, as I'm sort of coming down the hill, great oops, wrong way, let's tilt down. You can see it sort of flops down a bit that way through these beech leaves. And we'll carry on down, and really all I'm doing now is just heading back towards Brockweir, where I've left the car, and hopefully, not actually, let me just have a quick look at the map here. Yeah, it should take me just short of the bridge, the iron bridge where I started, with any luck. So, beautiful day, but this is a great walk to do when it's a very hot day, because you're in the shade quite a bit of it. Certainly the second half of this walk, I was very much in open country before. On my right, if I swing the camera around here, you can see where it goes up. And I can hear movement in the undergrowth, in the dried leaves from last year that are still on the ground, but I can't see anything. It's very strange that. You can hear things moving, digging, but I see nothing. Right, well, I'm going to head on down this track, skirt along a bit down to the river, and then back to the car. I've taken a little, not a shortcut, but looking at the map, I've just taking a little detour because I want to get down to the river. The path that I was following was skirting through the trees on my right over there, but I'm hoping that we'll get to see a bit of the river. In the distance there you can see the bridge. That's the bridge I started on in part 1 of my video. I have done a complete circle around about 5 miles. Absolutely invigorating, wonderful, beautiful, and this will take me back to Brockweir and where I've parked the car. What I should have done, of course, is brought a nice flask of coffee and some sandwiches with me. However, I'm 20 miles from the campsite where I'm staying, so I can whiz back there, or maybe find a little shop or something and have a little snackette. But here we go. Can't quite see the river. Let's just see if I can duck through this. Here's the river. Here we go. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. And there it is. And so with the River Wye behind me, winding through the River Valley, the Wye Valley even. Thank you so much for watching, and do join me again on another one wherever I happen to be. Until then, goodbye. Oh, yes, a nice cool drink is what's required.